Welcome everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to create a Hadoop and an HBase cluster on EC2. However, this is not limited to just EC2, and you can use this demonstration to create an HBase cluster on most of your virtual machines too. Both the Elastic MapReduce of Amazon and Cloudera Manager are easy and great, but not always cost effective on the cloud. Here is an architectural diagram of the Hadoop cluster. There are three nodes and we'll call them master, slave 1, and slave 2. The master node runs the name node, the secondary name node, and the job tracker processes, and the slave nodes run the data node and the task tracker. In the HBase cluster, the master node runs the hmaster, hregion server, and the hquorum p to manage the zookeeper, and the slave node runs only the hregion server. Alright then, let's get started. Go to your AWS Management Console and we'll launch 3 instances over here. But before we launch 3 instances, we need to configure our security group. The security group that I'm gonna use is called the HBase cluster, and it has the following set of inbound rules. You'll have to create a security group with a similar set of rules depending upon your usage. Now, let us fire up 3 instances. Go to launch instance. I'm gonna use the Ubuntu 12.04. This is a 64-bit machine. I'll use a relatively large size, so I'm gonna use c3.large. We'll need 3 instances, one of them being the master and the 2 other being the slaves. We'll launch it in the US East 1B region. Usually the Hadoop and the HBase cluster require large sizes of hard disk, so I'll create one with 100 GB. We can name them later. Here, let's choose the security group that we created. It says that the cluster is open to the world, but that's alright. It'll ask for my key pair, and this is the one I want to use, so I'll go ahead and launch instance. And my instances are launching, so it'll take a few minutes before I get them up and running. As you can see, my instances are initializing now. 2 of them are running, 1 of them is pending. I'll rename these 3 as master, slave 1, and slave 2. Alright, they seem to be running right now. Next, what we need to do is to SSH into our instances using sigwin. Once we enter the instances, we'll install Java on them and we'll configure the keys so that all the 3 instances can talk to each other and communicate with each other. Once that is done, we'll install Hadoop on the main node, the master node, and then we'll try to copy it over to the other 2 nodes. For HBase, we'll do everything similarly. We'll install the HBase on the master node and then move it over to the other 2 slave nodes. Let's open up 3 terminals. 1, 2, 3. We'll SSH to the 3 instances using these 3 terminals. Alright then, once I'm in the directory, I'll need to enter the SSH command to fire up the instances. This is the syntax of the command, and just say yes. And now we are inside the instance. This is the master node, and I'll just I'll do it similarly for the other two nodes as well. Alright then, I did everything similar for the other two nodes, and we're apparently inside all of them. Now what I'm doing next is I'll do it for all the three nodes, but I'll show it only on a master node, so you'll have to assume that I have done it on not just one but the other two as well. Then we'll install Hadoop only on this master node, and then we'll run it through the master node itself. So we'll have to first edit the host file. Just go to the host file. Here we'll have to add the private IP addresses of all the three machines. You can find the private IP address right here, and we'll just add all these three addresses in here. Alright then, this is how I added the IP addresses, and I named this the master and the other two slave 1 and slave 2. Do this for the other two nodes as well. Now save this file. Now let's authorize communication between the three nodes. For this we'll have to create an SSH key, and this will store it in a file called id_rsa.pub. We'll copy the contents of this file and put it into another file called authorized_keys. These can be found in the .ssh folder. Let's create a key. Just choose the default by pressing enter. Enter, enter again. This saves it to the id_rsa.pub file. Alright, then let's go to the .ssh folder listed and open up this file and just copy this content. We'll do it for all the three instances, and we'll put them all in another file called authorized_keys, if you can see here. Let's go to that file. I'll do the same for the other two instances, and I'll just bring all the keys over here. Alright then, I've copied all the three keygens to this file over here. It has all the private IP addresses in here. Let's just save it. Remember, we have to do the same for the authorized keys file on the other two instances as well. Alright then, once that is done, let's ping the slave 1 and let's see if we have connection to it. Yes, we have. We can communicate to slave 1. Let's see if we can communicate to slave 2. And we can. Let's try communicating to the master from slave 1. Ping master. It says unknown host master. Well, that was because I forgot to edit the host file in here, so I'll just do the same. There you go. Now let's try to check the connection from slave 1 to the master. Seems good now. Let's try it from the slave 2. Alright then, we are able to communicate between all the three nodes, which is a good thing. Now let's switch to the master node and install Java on it. And we'll do the same for the other two nodes as well. Let's check the Java version on it first. It doesn't seem to have Java on it, so we'll install Java with this command that I have here. This is the place that we are installing it from. Let's enter the continue, and we have the file. Now we need to issue an update command. Here's how it looks like. It'll run an update, it'll bring that file into the file system. Now, once this is done, this Oracle Java 7 installer is what we need, and we'll go ahead and install it. Say yes. It will run our setup. Hit OK, and yes. It takes a while for it to complete. Now it's done. Let's check the version on it. Now we're running 1.7.0, 72 update. Now we'll have to set up the environmental variable java underscore home. It's not echoing out anything right now, but we'll have to issue this command. Now exit from the instance and go back to it again. Now echo java home, and it should bring this out, give this text out. Now we do this on all of the 3 instances, so I'll do it in the background, and then what we do next is only exclusive for the master node, and we're not doing it on the other 2 instances. Alright, then I've done the same thing on the other 2 instances, and let's check it out, and yep, it's echoing out. Now we'll go ahead and download Hadoop, and after we download Hadoop, we'll have to change some of the configuration files, and then we'll move all the whole folder to the other 2 slave nodes. We'll download the star file that I found on the internet. It is Hadoop version 1.2.1, and now we'll have to untar this file since it's downloaded. Let's use this, and yeah, let's check the contents of the directory. This is the installer the tar file that we downloaded, and this is what has been done when we untarred the file. Now let's go to the configuration folder and the Hadoop 1.2.1 folder. cd Hadoop. Here we have a list of all these files, and we are interested in the core site, the Hadoop environmental file, the HDFS site, the MapRed site, and the masters and slaves file. We'll edit them, and I'll show you how to do that. Let's first edit the Hadoop and file. Here we'll have to just remove the comment over here and put the path to what the environmental variable was echoing out. So I uncommented this one, and I put the path, and now I'm gonna save it. This is saved, and now we'll move on to the core site file.